guys! Today I'm going to review The Satanic Rites of Dracula. It's a brilliant film. It's one of my favourites. The film stars Christopher Lee as Count Dracula, Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, Joanna Lumley as Van Helsing's daughter Jessica, and it even has a character called Inspector Murray from the previous film. In fact, The Satanic Rites of Dracula, these are the Blu-rays, in Dracula AD 1972, they're kind of like a two-parter in a way. They have a lot of the cast's the same, and the same director and writer did both films. So Dracula AD 1972 is set in the 70s, and so is The Satanic Rites of Dracula set in the 70s. So it's a direct follow-on. It's just like in the film it's like 2.5 years later. Also, The Satanic Rites of Dracula, it's an excellent transfer on the Blu-ray. Makes a change saying like a good version of the film, because it's hard to see a good print. I remember it was one of the first films I recorded on video when I first got a video recorder. I was taping stuff off the telly to watch. And The Satanic Rites of Dracula was the very first film I ever taped. It was about 1985 or something when I did it. And I was so excited, I think I must have watched the film about bloody 100 times.
Hey, I used to shit myself as a kid watching Dracula.
So The Satanic Rites of Dracula is Christopher Lee's final film as Dracula. And it's a good send-off. It didn't do too well at the box office, so it only made about 223,000. Even though it was a low budget film, that's like a disaster. Right from the beginning, the film's excellent. I love the intro. You say the title, The Satanic Rites of Dracula, and in the bottom corner, the bottom right corner, you see a shadow of Dracula, and as the cast and everything, the credits go down the screen, you see the shadow of Dracula getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So he's like filling the screen slowly before the film starts. And it's a really effective opening, because it makes you uneasy as though Dracula's presence is in the film. He's like a ghost sort of thing in the intro. And there's an excellent music to it as well, really creepy. In fact, the film has a good soundtrack all the way through. It's really effective, one of the best. The film starts about 2.5 years after Dracula AD 1972, and Dracula's disciples have resurrected Dracula, and Van Helsing finds out about all these high-ups, these politicians, MPs and all that kind of thing, are in this cult. So he's investigating, and he finds out that there's sacrifices, human sacrifices, and he realises that Dracula's involved with it. So his daughter Jessica, Inspector Murray, team up again to defeat Dracula, and it's really good. One thing about the plot, I like the idea that Dracula is finally sick, getting resurrected by his bloody disciples. So what he does is he invents this virus to wipe out mankind. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So anyway, he invents this virus, and he wants his disciples to release it, kill everyone, so he can finally bloody die, not get resurrected all the bloody time by them. So I thought that was really good. And Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, he realises that's what Dracula's really wanting. I love the ending. Dracula gets caught in this hawthorn bush, the bush that they used to make the crown of thorns to put on Christ's head. So he's like in agony, Dracula. And the ending, Peter Cushing, you can kind of read into it that he could leave Dracula to die slowly, but instead he gets a stake and like kills him off, and he even collects Dracula's ring. Right at the end he gives it a little blow, blows the dust off. It's really effective. I really like that.
Hey, does Dracula turn into fucking me at the end?
All the cast's good. Freddie Jones is a bit hammy. There's, there's a really funny bit where Van Helsing visits his apartment, and he meets, because Freddie Jones is playing this scientist who's inventing the virus, and he's all over the place with his hamminess.
You need to feel the thrill of disgust, the beauty of obscenity.
At the end, Van Helsing slaps him, and the slap looks ridiculous. It's like flap flap, and he's like miles away. It looks so false. And Freddie Jones is really hammy. Some of his dialogue's so funny. The flesh literally rots upon the bone, and the contagion spreads like wildfire.
Eh, what a bloody hammy cunt he is. The flesh literally rots upon the bone. Bloody hell.
Alan Gibson, the director who also did the previous one, Dracula AD 1972, he's actually, I thought he did a good job. It's well directed, this film. There's lots of interesting shots. So he doesn't really get the credit he deserves, because he made two excellent films. It's strange that the Dracula cult also involves these bikers, like Hell's Angels type. So that was a bit bizarre. The film's gory. It has some gory stakings where there's a lot of vampire girls in the cellar. And there's a good scene where one gets staked through the heart, and you see the blood squirt. I also like the little painting drawing that's in Van Helsing's house, study. It's Dracula, and he keeps looking at it. It's really good. Although Dracula's not in a great deal, it's sort of like, well, halfway through the film before he first appears, I think. The scenes that he is in are really effective, so it's sort of like worth the wait. I love the scene where Van Helsing visits him in his office, and he's hiding behind these lights, and he puts a Bible and a crucifix on Dracula's desk, and Dracula's talking to him behind these lights, and he touches the cross and burns his hand, and Peter Cushing as Van Helsing realises it is Dracula. Really good scene where he flashes his crucifix and his silver bullet in his gun. Excellent scene, that. I actually think Peter Cushing was making better films in the 70s. Like, he's always a great actor, but I think he did better acting in his like later horror films, the 1970s, like the Hammer films. He's excellent as Van Helsing. I think he's better playing Van Helsing in his last few films than the early ones. Because in the early ones he was like, he came across as too sort of like cocky and like too almost like a superhero sort of thing. You knew where he wouldn't get killed somehow. But in these later films, he's sort of like an older figure, and you can kind of imagine him getting defeated by Dracula. And he also looks more frightened of Dracula in these later films. So it's much better, that, I think. And I like the team he has with his daughter and the inspector. So there's like 3 of them battling Dracula. It's good. I wish they'd have done a series of more films featuring them characters. Didn't necessarily have to be Dracula all the time. They could have had like them like battling like other creatures and stuff. It would have been really good. This is a great example of why 1970s Hammer films I think are underrated. There's loads of films that Hammer made in the 1970s. There's Twins of Evil, there's Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter. There's tons, and like critics always consider the early films are the best. The films like Dracula and the Curse of Frankenstein and stuff, Brides of Dracula. They always say that the late 50s, early 60s were Hammer's heyday. But I think the late 60s and especially the 1970s, they were making some of the best films they ever did. I thought they were more original. Setting Dracula's time period in the 1970s was a great idea. Really good, instead of the standard type of vampire tale that you get. So overall I think it's an underrated masterpiece, this. I think I'd class it as my third favourite Hammer film. It's just under Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. I can never decide which one I think's the best of them two. And of course Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter is definitely my favourite. But I'd class this one in third place. Excellent film. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's excellent. So out of 10, what would I give it? Well, it's quite easy. I'd give it 10! 10 out of 10. What the hell did it do?
I thought it was bloody excellent bloody film, Phil. Better than the bloody crap they make these days.
Another thing, this is me 100th upload. So I've done 100 videos on YouTube. So if you want to see them, check my playlists. I've done films, I've done Doctor Who reviews, I've done board game reviews. Lots of different things. So check them out, subscribe, it's all free to subscribe. So okay, bye everyone, bye, bye.